All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. We got all kinds of good news stuff for you today, but the main topic I wanted to talk about is that Tron, the Tron founder, is planning to buy BitTorrent Incorporated. So, founded by BitTorrent inventor Bram Cohen, BitTorrent is known for its torrent client, uTorrent, which has more than 100 million users. Despite this massive user base, however, the company never transformed into the next billion-dollar tech giant as some of the early investors had hoped. So in fact, it has only gone downhill in recent years, in part due to questionable management practices. Things have calmed down since, but according to new information gathered by Torrent Freak, there is a major change afoot. Yeah, so I think Tron may turn it around. Who knows? Even though so far Tron really hasn't done anything at all. It's just pretty much like a $5 billion or $4 billion market hype. So a few weeks ago, we reported that BitTorrent quietly renamed its company to Rainberry last year. The company informed us that this was purely a corporate decision. While that may be the case, it could also be related to the company's plans to be acquired. So interestingly enough, this comes from torrentfreak.com, which actually kind of makes sense. So legal paperwork filed earlier this year reveals that Rainberry was sued because it was allegedly violated a no-shop clause in an agreement with a potential buyer. And that potential buyer who signed a letter of intent is none other than Tron founder Justin Sun. Now, Tron is one of the hottest and controversial cryptocurrencies. So after a successful ICO, it now has a market cap of $4 billion, only surpassed by a few others. Well, like 9 others. And with Sun at the helm, it makes headlines nearly every day. And the Tron mainnet, which will go live in a few days, has the ultimate goal to decentralize the web, which, again, means pretty much nothing. I mean, that's just sort of an empty statement. So BitTorrent would fit well in this picture. Well, I do agree with that. And the Tron white paper mentions torrents as one of the pillars. So Tron's goal, again, is to decentralize the web, but what does that even mean? Nobody really knows. Decentralizing the web meaning getting away from Google and corporate advertisement and sponsors and things like that. I really don't even know. Nobody knows. So a decentralized web would be okay, but again, if there's no regulation whatsoever, people are going to be uploading material to whatever this decentralized web is that they probably ought not to be uploading, such as illegal things. So Sun first began pursuing the acquisition of BitTorrent assets in September last year. In January 2018, both parties finalized a letter of intent for the acquisition, which Sun returned a signed copy. So while it appears that things were moving along nicely, BitTorrent came back with a surprising reply. Within literally hours of the parties agreed to the letter of intent, and after Ro Choi began performing the terms of the letter of intent, defendant claims it received 3 superior bids from companies that David Chow admitted they had been communicating with. So Sun claims in the lawsuit. And don't worry about the boy in the background. He's watching a movie. He's just having a lot of fun and screaming once in a while, which is real fun when you're trying to record news videos. So Sun asked the court for a restraining order to prevent BitTorrent from talking to other potential buyers, as was agreed in the letter of intent. The case was swiftly dismissed by the court, but not without leaving a paper trail. So, you know, they're looking to buy BitTorrent, but BitTorrent has received higher offers than Tron has made, and they signed the letter of intent, and then they received additional offers and tried to accept those, and now they're trying to take BitTorrent to court and get, you know, a letter to stop them from doing that because they already signed a letter of intent to sell. So we'll have to see where this goes here. But kind of interesting. It does make a lot of sense that Tron, with a decentralized internet, would want BitTorrent. But again, what does even decentralized internet really mean? I mean, isn't it already kind of decentralized? Or you could say that it's a little centralized because you have to have an ISP to log on. But even with Tron, decentralized internet, you would have to have an ISP to log. It just doesn't really make sense. And you know, I'm curious just to see what their project is going to be. But it's kind of the usual corporate jargon where they're just like, yeah, we're going to make a decentralized web. What does that mean? I don't know. You figure it out and give us $4 billion in the meantime. So online disputes about the Rothschilds' involvement in the creation of their own cryptocurrency projects. So, you know, as soon as I read that title, I like my conspiratorial mindset is just like, you know what? the Rothschilds made Bitcoin so that everybody could get used to Bitcoin, and then they're like, hey, we're going to create our own cryptocurrency project where the entire world uses it. And no, you don't have to use our central banks. You can just use our centralized cryptocurrency. And I know that's probably totally false, but it's one of those things that like 5 years later, there's going to be like conspiracy videos on YouTube, like trying to convince you that the Rothschilds made Bitcoin and then made this coin so that the whole world would adopt it. That's something that just wouldn't surprise me. Like I just wouldn't be like, well, I'd just be like, I guess I called it. But yesterday, CoinSpeaker published an article in which the author shared his thoughts on the sensational news about the development of the Rothschilds' own cryptocurrency project, IMMO. So this information leaked from closed channels, as stated in the article. The author of the article stipulates that the project developed by the Rothschilds is most likely a stable coin, which value is to be determined by the price of gold or another natural resource. Possible goal that Rothschilds pursue is the global use of IMO tokens. I'm going to call it IMO. Why not? This should be the case. Acting as an issuer of IMO, the dynasty will gain control over a huge capital. So furthermore, the author does not exclude the possibility of IMO being an attempt to introduce the official state cryptocurrency, which has nothing in common with decentralization. It is also assumed that the mysterious IMO from the German word Immobilien, I don't know if I said that right, could be something related to real estate. You know, it's interesting because I feel like I can read German the best out of any language aside from English, and once in a while the words throw me off, you know, whatever. So according to the article, the Rothschilds may create the IMO in an attempt to address the internal needs of the family. Yeah, makes sense. Private blockchain will allow the Rothschilds to account for all their wealth, as well as enable them to transfer the accumulated wealth to their descendants in the IMO tokens. Because have you ever guys watched? Have you guys ever watched? Excuse me, I don't know why I messed that up. A documentary on the Rothschilds and central bankers and things like that. It's extremely interesting. Basically, several hundred years ago, the main Rothschild dude at the time sent all of his sons out across the world. Literally, I know this sounds like a super like myth tale or something that like from a book. And sent them all over the world to create central banks in various locations. Some were a bit more successful than others. And apparently they descended from basically the people who hold gold and then give you tokens in return. So because everybody didn't want to walk around with gold way back in the day, and then you have these people with gold, and then they give out tokens or these pieces of paper, and then they end up having more money than the kings themselves. So it's kind of actually interesting. It's a pretty long story. And this is exactly what I've been saying for many months now about a government-issued cryptocurrency, is that a private blockchain would allow you to account for all of your wealth. And if a central bank had it, they could, you know, they could create coins, they could remove coins, they could create, you know, control interest and deflation and inflation. They would know how much exactly is in circulation and how much everybody has. It's absolutely perfect for the banking mentality. Much even so better than you know, the banking industry itself with fiat. So interestingly enough, the creation of the world currency has been mentioned for over 30 years. The Economist, which belongs to the Rothschilds, 30 years from now, Americans, Japanese, Europeans, and many in other rich countries, and some relatively poor ones, will probably be paying for their shopping with the same currency. Prices will be quoted not in dollars, yen, or D-marks, but in, let's say, the Phoenix. The Phoenix will certainly be more convenient than today's national currencies, which by then will seem to be a quaint cause of much disruption to economic life in the last 20th century. So undoubtedly, the IMO cannot be compared directly with the world currency Phoenix described in 1988. Nevertheless, there are just too many coincidences, and one question remains: what is IMO? So again, you know, there is the whole idea of the one world government and the one world currency that's been going around for a long time. And if you've never seen any kind of documentaries or conspiracies on that, again, really worth your time and super good entertainment, regardless of whether you believe in it or not. So this kind of thing coming from the Rothschilds, making a cryptocurrency that the entire world would use, makes total sense. It just does. There's nothing about it that doesn't make sense, if you will. So, you know, one day the world, I still believe that one day the world will, you know, end up using one cryptocurrency, and that governments will start creating their own cryptocurrencies, and then eventually that'll just kind of get coalesced into one greater cryptocurrency. And, you know, in the future, I don't see that, you know, it could cause some problems. Not much of a banker or economist, but definitely something that probably could happen. So Ethereum Classic 51% attack would cost just $55 million and result in $1 billion in profit. So for all of you that are watching, with all of your $55 million, why not do an Ethereum Classic 51% attack and get yourself $1 billion? Because everybody's got $55 million. It's not that much. Launching a 51% attack on Ethereum Classic would be both cost-effective and profitable, new research has claimed. A Brazilian researcher has calculated that it would just take $55 million to hack a major cryptocurrency network for $1 billion profit in new findings. So the University of Sao Paulo used the example of Ethereum Classic to demonstrate the hackability of cryptocurrency networks using proof-of-work algorithms. And we could safely estimate that the cost of 51% attack on Ethereum Classic would be between $55 and $85 million, an average of 70. So the findings seemingly contradict previously held assumptions that conducting network attacks successful 51% attacks to control hash power is too expensive and would result in making the attacked currency worthless. So if you have all that hashing power, you're better off mining coins than attacking the network. And so now, however, the situation is different, with barriers to entry in terms of equipment costs removed and shorting making it possible to achieve considerable profits, he adds. The methods employ a cost calculation model for 51% attacks known as Rendex 2.0, which removes aspects such as purchasing new equipment in favor of leasing hash power from other proof-of-work coins, such as Bitcoin. So, you know, the article really didn't get into any kind of, I kind of just wanted to show you this because it was kind of interesting. Yet at the same time, this article really doesn't go into how you would go about doing that. Of course, it's not going to go into exactly how you're going to do it, because otherwise people would do it. But, you know, it just goes to show that these 51% attacks that have been going around lately, and, you know, the Verge mining hack, which is not really a 51% attack, you know, it's called that a lot, but it's really more of a mining spoof, if anything. And with a 51% attack, you can do double spending, so you can just essentially have a bunch of Ethereum or any kind of coin, and then you send it to an exchange, and then you do a transaction with it at the same time, and you cancel the transaction, and you end up getting those coins back, and then you keep the coins that you sent to the exchange as well. So you essentially just doubled your coins. And that's a big problem in the crypto world that most people think that would never really happen, but now it's really starting to happen quite a bit. With Bitcoin, it's virtually impossible. The amount of hash power you would have to accumulate would be, again, virtually impossible. I don't even think Bitmain itself could do it. So Ukrainian ICO publicity stunt on Mount Everest results in the death of a Sherpa. So for anybody that doesn't know what a Sherpa is, it's basically somebody who lives on the border of, I think, like India and Nepal, where in the Himalayas, and they're really good mountain climbers, etc. So just in case, I know there's probably somebody watching this. It was like, I don't know what a Sherpa is. So it's very unfortunate, and you know, I don't know if this stunt was really worth it. So this is basically a publicity stunt, and somebody died over it. But again, it's an interesting article, so let me show you this. So a publicity stunt for an ICO involving placing a cryptocurrency wallet at the top of Mount Everest has resulted in the death of a Sherpa. So a publicity stunt for the upcoming initial coin offering of Ukrainian social network Ask FM led to the death of one person last week, the Financial Times Alphaville reports Friday, May 25th. So when you climb Mount Everest, you usually bring Sherpas with you, and they know how to climb the mountain. They know exactly what path you should take, and they help you out. So according to Ask FM, sponsored crypto enthusiasts, a whole bunch of people, to climb Mount Everest and place a Ledger wallet holding 500,000 Ask FM tokens at the peak, with a second wallet with an equal amount of tokens to be offered in a contest. So a YouTube promotional video for the stunt asked its viewers to get ready for the highest token, literally, offering the wallet at the top of Everest to anyone brave enough to get it. According to a spokesperson for Ask FM, the tokens at the top of Everest are worth $50,000, a sum calculated by an estimate of their value once the pre-sale and ICO launch. So that's pretty lame. So they're not even like, it's not even like 50,000 in Bitcoin. It's just some ICO coin. So again, somebody had to die just for some $50,000 worth of some who knows ICO coin. So the FT confirmed with Everest blogger Alan Arnett's report of the weekend that a Ukrainian team had summited Everest, but the blog noted that one of the accompanying Sherpas, Lam Babu Sherpa, had died during the descent. Lam Babu Sherpa's death is reported on Russian media site For Sport as occurring due to either snow blindness or physical exhaustion. The snow blindness confirmed by a representative of Nepal's Ministry of Tourism. Described the death in the following manner. In a second, animal fear, and I shout to Dima, let's get out of here, or these will be the last pictures we'll ever take. At this time, there were 3 of our Sherpa at the top. We saw Dima's Sherpa, and as it turned out, he did not return to the camp. He said, it's a very confusing case. I find it hard to understand how the 45-year-old Sherpa developed snow blindness, was reported to be staggering, and no one was able to help him. I look forward to obtaining more details on this sad event. So one of the Ukrainian climbers told the FT that he didn't know what had happened to the Sherpa was coming behind him, so we didn't see him. We have become aware that a Sherpa who successfully assisted one of our sponsored climbers on a part of their journey prior to assisting other non-related groups of climbers later became missing. So nobody really knew what happened to him, but likely Everest is pretty wicked. You know, there's virtually no oxygen. It's very hard to climb it without oxygen. I think it's been done a few times. But for the most part, if you climb it without oxygen, your risk of death is pretty substantial. It's very, very cold. You can slip, you can fall, you can get snow blindness and not be able to see. So very unfortunate, and it's just not worth it. You know, I mean, this guy was probably paid to help them climb for this hype contest. It wasn't even for something, you know, for somebody's you know, last wish to climb Everest or for their sporting adventure. It's just for this stupid corporate promotion. So I at least hope somebody gets the wallet and gets the money out of it or something. This just wasn't worth it. So if you're holding an ICO, please don't let people die for your promotion for your ICO. That's probably what we should focus on with ICO. So very unfortunate. Billions of dollars lost, could potentially be lost, rather, in EOS, or EOS, as some people call it. I always call it EOS, but I know the developers, I think, sometimes call it EOS. So my boy is really, really screaming up a storm. So luckily, we're almost done. So hurry up and register your EOS tokens. Your message will be heard more and more often in the coming 6 days. So after May 31st, EOS held on Ethereum-compatible wallets will be locked and rendered useless. So if you have EOS, whatever you want to call it, and it's on an Ethereum wallet, like my Ethereum wallet or any other wallets, you need to get them off there and put them on an exchange, or you need to register them with the EOS website. Oh, man, now I'm throwing myself off. So it will not even be transferable. Unless users register their balances through the official EOS site or send them to an exchange, they will be at the mercy of EOS core developers. So in theory, there is a way to take a snapshot of the Ethereum blockchain and assign EOS addresses. However, this opportunity may be slow to arrive for technical reasons. So billions of dollars worth of EOS will be lost. Over 50% of EOS addresses are unregistered and will have their EOS frozen. So please alert your readers. It goes out to a bunch of the news sites. So keeping EOS on Exodus wallets or My Ether wallets is the worst decision at the moment. Exchanges will fund the EOS balances, except for those markets that warn they will stop trading. So after registering the Ethereum Ethereum public address, users are urged to make sure their balances are registered. Bugs on registration tools have been revealed. So check the authority account link for a valid name and registration to avoid losses from faulty registration. So ahead of the mainnet launch, EOS had another run upward in terms of market prices. The asset, however, is still seeing the downward pull of the bear market, slid to $11.99, making the net 24-hour gain just 8%. EOS did not manage to fulfill the expectations of a run to $30 this time, and there are predictions that the price would slide as low as $5. especially in the case of if a scandal, if unaware users discover their tokens are inaccessible. So if you have EOS, you need to get them onto an exchange or you need to register them. In all honesty, I know that most security comes from some kind of your own private wallet or some kind of ledger wallet or something like that. In this case, you need to put them on an exchange, and I know how ironic and backwards that sounds, but you need to put them on an exchange. Like, for example, Binance has said, and you can look it up and Google it, and they gave a announcement that says, we are going to, keep EOS, and we will give you, the new tokens. Everything is fine. Some exchanges are not participating in this, and if you have it on their exchange, poof, it's going to probably be gone. If you have this in a MyEther wallet, or again, where did I even read that? Oh, like an Exodus wallet, excuse me. I don't know why I keep forgetting that. You're going to lose your tokens. They will be untransferable. They might just outright disappear. Not really sure what's going to happen to them, but they're going to be untransferable. So essentially, you're going to lose all your money. So don't do that. Strangely, despite the market-wide pessimism, EOS is still seeing some bullish predictions for the short term. EOS is about to take off. Get ready. So one of the reasons for the EOS climbing potential is the influence of Asian markets. Also, EOS is traded in Ethereum pairs, and the Block 1 wallets are rich enough to prop up the price. Some believe that EOS has been artificially propped up for months in Ethereum trading. EOS is also paired with Tether, receiving additional liquidity for speculation. So with 7 more daily auctions left, there may be one last buying spree for EOS. In the past 365 days, the daily bidding for EOS saw auctions gather more than 50,000 Ethereum on a good day. Now the levels are back down. Excuse me. Now the levels are back down to 40,000 Ethereum. Still a significant amount. For some ICOs, the daily EOS purchases are their entire haul, in effect making EOS the heftiest project around, possibly sitting on several billions worth of EOS. So again, can't stress enough. If you want like the safest, the likely safest way to store your EOS is just make a Binance account, throw them on there for now, and then wait till after the mainnet, and then you can decide from there. So they will have to probably make their own wallet because it won't be on the ERC20 anymore, so you won't be able to throw them back into your MyEther wallet. They are no longer an Ethereum ERC20 token, so don't do that either. So just put them on Binance for now, or some kind of exchange, something like that, and whatever your exchange of choice is, and have them safe for now. So the market dipping quite a bit, made SafeCoin way up. Interesting. I don't think I've ever even heard of that. I know somebody in the comments going to be like, you never heard of made SafeCoin, it's blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. So Zencash way up as well. The losers of the day, interestingly, Steam and Stratus, BAT way down today as well. But as you can see here, EOS still holding strong. It took the dip like every other coin here. As you can see, they pretty much all dipped together because they're all tied to Bitcoin. They're all essentially tied to each other now. But they do still jump up in their own manners, but typically dip and go up all together in some way, shape, or form. So EOS not doing too bad right now. But that's all I have for you guys today. I was slipping and sliding on my words today, and I don't know why, but must be just one of those days. And I got the boy screaming in the background. He's watching movies and gets all super excited, gets all pumped. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys next time.